Hello, everyone. My name is Nish Parikh. I'm a CEO and co-founder of Rangam, uh, where our mission is to promote employment for everyone inclusive of neurodivergent talent, people with disabilities, and disabled veterans. We are a workforce solution company with the culture of empathy, where I believe the empathy is constantly driving innovation at Rangam. And when it comes to employment for people with disability or neurodivergent talent, that empathy driven or empathy driven approach or a culture is very important. It's very important for any organization when it comes to build that inclusive culture, when it comes to um, the equity at workplace. And a little bit about Rangam and our journey. But before I get into our journey, let me just start with something basics. The purpose of today's event is we are talking about neurodiversity. So what I have learned from one of the partner Stanford Neurodiversity project and Dr. Fung, the definition of neurodiversity. Uh, what I have learned and understood is neurodiversity is a concept that regards individuals with differences in brain functions and behavioral traits as part of the normal variation in the human population. And we know that uh, the neurodiversity or neurodivergence is we are connected to someone who is neurodivergent directly or indirectly. And the neurodivergence and neurodiversity, um, or I would say neurodivergence is, or neurodifferences doesn't discriminate, right? So neurodifferences can be across gender, age, race, ethnicity, and all economic and educational level. And just general overall, when we talk about um, disabilities, there are mainly three types of disabilities which we have seen, and how we when we build these programs around neurodiversity or disability inclusion, we see it as in three categories. One is a visible disability, second is invisible disability, and third, which is acquired disability. So for example, during COVID last 2 years, 18 months, the whole world became one way or another way disabled, where we were limited with our abilities. And that's kind of how I see the definition of disability. And when it comes to neurodiversity, um, I personally believe it's when we neurodiversity at work is not just a one-time deal that we bring in an expert and we talk about the neurodiversity, we train and bring that awareness and we move on. As the world of work is changing and world of work has become so fast paced, people come and go. Um, it has to be sustainable. And that is the key. And that's where, in our experience, our employer partners, they are seeking for expertise. And that's what makes neurodiversity at work successful. A little bit about my personal journey and connection with neurodiversity and autism. In 2007, I was talking to a friend, and he said, Nish, when our kids, neurotypical kids, when they graduate from high school, we all celebrate, and the high school graduation from a special needs school he was coming from. He said parents are sitting in the parking lot and they are really worried. What is going to concern? What are they going to do next week, Monday morning, when there is no school? And this is my journey in United States. And from my exposure to the infrastructure of education and special needs world in US, I was surprised and kind of shocked. And that's how I really started my journey of learning. And I call this circle of innovation. So um, uh, around 2008, 9, 10, I started building the technology to teach children with autism. And that time, the goal was, how do we tap into young kids, students, their imagination, and then help the kids in needs. And of course, one of the other principle or fundamental basic uh, concept I try to leverage is, how do we use more evidence-based, research-driven teaching method and build a system or a program where we can leverage the technology and expedite that whole learning process for children on the autism spectrum. And we build some technology solution with the cameras where, tracking the eye movement, and based on the child's attention, we play some music or some visual presentation or content of their interest and grab their attention. So that's really how I started my journey around now almost 14, 15 years, and just amazing journey of learning, constant learning, meeting some amazing folks, experts, passionate people, organizations, from special needs schools to some of the great large organizations where they are serving thousands of people, neurodivergent as well as other with all other visible or invisible disabilities. And through this learning process, we develop technology platform to teach children with autism, to screening app called Early 3. There the goal was, one of the biggest challenge parents and us as a whole, as a society, is facing is the early diagnosis. The earliest diagnosis we can do is about 18 months. And in US, the average age of diagnosis is about 4.5, 5 years. And because of that, we are really missing an opportunity for early intense intervention. And so we started working with some of the experts in this space, and we developed an app called Early 3, where we are asking questions from age 9 months to 36 months, and capturing that information and build an algorithm which is giving early indication to parents if there is any concern on the child development side. Combination of that, and then ColorSkit is another tool, which platform which we have built, and I see a tremendous opportunity to offer this technology to parents, which we have made it at no cost for parents and professionals. And it's a pretty intense and pretty powerful tool. We also did some work and build some programs and build Colors Academy in Vadodara, Gujarat. So we've been doing a little bit of work in India, and I personally believe that that partnership is the key. So during last 14, 15 years, we've been constantly partnering with the organizations, and we as a whole, as a community, the question is, how do we all collaborate and leverage each other expertise, do this cross-functional, cross-industry collaboration, for profit, not for profit collaboration. And that's how we started our journey, partnering with some of the organizations in the United States, and then expanded that into some other schools, not for profit organizations. And through these collaborations, our goal has been always, how do we build a solution and how do we serve first the neurodiverse population, as well as make a connection of this neurodiverse untapped talent to corporations. So part of other work we've been doing is also partnering with some researchers and innovators and academias, where with the goal to contribute our subject matter expertise in the neurodiversity at workspace, technology, our staffing industry expertise, and of course learn from this research programs, and make our offerings to our employer partners offerings more effective, scalable, more sustainable, and more importantly, more evidence-based. We want to make sure that anything which we do, we want to make sure that we do it through and we verify some of the best practices which we've been developing and trying it out with our partners. So that was just an overview of what we do. But more importantly, on this platform, I would like to ask for your help, for your support, collaborations, partnerships, whatever we have learned in last 15 years in US and other part of the world. We would love to offer and collaborate with organizations in India and do some great work and bring a change in the society, from starting with awareness to building some solutions around special needs education, screening and assessment of for individuals on the spectrum, to ultimately have a meaningful job. And looking forward to the conversation, and really thank you for your time and your interest in neurodiversity, and wishing all of you very best. Thank you, and have a wonderful remaining of your conference. Take care. Bye-bye.